name is Rhonda Barnett. I am a student at Chattahoochee Technical College studying early childhood education. Today's video is brought to you by Class 1105, which is Health, Safety, and Nutrition in a Child Care Facility. So today I'm going to talk to you about health in the kitchen of your child care facility. We're going to discuss menus and inventory. We're going to discuss proper food storage. And then lastly, we're going to discuss proper sanitation. So first off, your menu, you should always have your menu done at the beginning of the week. It's probably best to make 5, 6 of them and rotate them so you're not having to do this task every week. You also want to have this posted in your kitchen as well as at your front door. If you ever need to make changes to your menu, let's say you didn't realize you didn't order peas. Well, before you open up that day, you need to make sure that you cross off, let's say, the green beans from your menu and place peas, because once the parent walks in, they need to know exactly what their child is being served for the day. So let's talk about the food components. When we talk about breakfast, you should have a grain, a fruit or vegetable, and milk. Let's say you wanted to throw in some scrambled eggs or some sausage, that's perfectly fine, but they do not count towards your components. So you still need to provide that biscuit or that toast or that cereal in addition to the other components that are required. When it comes to lunch, you should have a protein, a grain, a fruit, a vegetable. You can have 2 vegetables if you leave off the fruit, and your milk. The reason why you can't have 2 fruits is because fruits carry too much sugar for the children. So it's either a fruit and a vegetable or 2 vegetables. When it comes to snack, you need to have 2 of the major components. The components are proteins, grains, fruits or vegetables, and milk. So let's say for your snack you wanted to do cheese toast. Perfectly fine. You can do your cheese toast because that is your grain, that is your protein, and then you can choose to serve water if you would like. When it comes to dinner, for those centers who are serving dinner, you want to follow the same guidelines as your lunch. Now, when it comes to inventory, I mentioned inventory because it's very important. We have a practice to where we order groceries ahead of time for a week or 2 in advance. That way, we're not scrambling around trying to figure out what we have. It's an awful practice to serve day by day, because then you can't have your menus prepped and you find yourself scrambling trying to meet the components. So next we'll go into food storage. Let's say you've cooked your lunch and you have extra spaghetti and meatballs left over. Well, how do you store it? So we need to store everything in an airtight container. So there should never be just this with saran wrap or foil around it. It has to be in an airtight sealed container. So it can either be in something like this, or let's say you want to freeze it for later. Get you an airtight Ziploc bag. Additionally, you need to label what is in the contents of your container and the date that you used it. So if this is my spaghetti and meatballs, I'm going to label this as spaghetti and meatballs, and I'm going to put the date on which those spaghetti and meatballs were cooked. That way I know how long that food will last before it's time to then throw it out. Same thing with snacks. So let's say you had some graham crackers. It wasn't enough to still have the box, so we put it in the bag, and actually you would still have to put the bag inside the box if they are open container, because you want to make sure that they are sealed to be protected from all elements. You want to label it. You want to label it as graham crackers. And if I'm going to toss the box out, I think it's best practice to put the top of the box in there, so then that way anybody can clearly see when this item is expired. Next, we're going to talk about when you store the items, especially when you're storing them in the refrigerator or freezer, the appropriate temperatures. So if you're going to put something in the refrigerator, your refrigerator needs to sit at 40 degrees. You can get these thermometers from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Kroger, anywhere. You want to make sure that as far as the refrigerator is 40 degrees. If it does not sit at 40 degrees, you need to adjust the temperatures within your refrigerator and not store anything in that refrigerator until it gets down to the required temperature. For the freezer, we're looking at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's extremely important. You don't want to serve foods that have had the opportunity to spoil, and you don't want to serve foods that have been frostbitten either. Lastly, we're going to talk about proper sanitation. So in a child care facility, you have a requirement and then you have an adjustment. The requirement is typically a 3-basin sink. You need to have a sink for a wash, for a rinse, and for sanitize. As you can see, we only have 2 sinks. So the proper right from the start protocol is if you don't have a 3-sink basin and you only have 2 sinks, then you must have a dishwasher that reaches 150 degrees Fahrenheit. This ensures that the germs are killed, your kids are healthy, everybody is safe in your environment. So the 3 things that we have covered today was your menu and inventory. We've also covered proper food storage, as well as proper sanitation in your kitchen. I hope you guys take this and apply it into your child care facilities.